Oh dear.
Hi everybody, Matt and Tom back with you. Hope you're okay. Well, it is our 4th birthday on Dark Side of the Moor. So we're doing 2 or 3 haunting videos which will be released over this weekend. So hope you enjoy those, and we've come to today to look at one of the most haunted hamlets in the UK. We're going to visit Wycoller. Look at the abandoned Wycoller Hall, and this happens to be an incredibly spooky place. Whenever I've set off to do a spooky video this October, I've been getting a tan. It doesn't quite help with the mood, but I'm not complaining. Okay, so we're just about to enter Wycoller, which is so small it's not even regarded as a village, called a hamlet. And this area has been in existence from roughly the 10th century. Let's have a look. This half was on parade. Okay, and the main focus of Wycoller, especially for today's video, is the ruins of Wycoller Hall. These were built around the 1500s, and it existed till about the late 1800s, and it was the family seat of the Cunliffe family. We'll find out about those in a moment, because some of the Cunliffes were not exactly the nicest of people, and their restless spirits are still said to be here in Wycoller. Like I said, it's lovely, the sun is out. It does make filming a bit tricky, but these are the ruins of Wycoller Hall. We will have a look round, film it, and then I'll tell you about the plethora of ghosts that haunt Wycoller. There's one. One of the most famous parts that remain of Wycoller Hall is this huge fireplace. Now, interestingly, there is a sketch of this room from the 1600s that shows this fireplace, and it doesn't look much different 400 years later. So of course one thing that is quite interesting from that 1650 picture nearly 400 years ago is not just the fact that this fireplace looks exactly the same, it's the other bits that you can see as well. So if you look over here, you see that shield? That is also on the drawing, as is the one at where's it gone? There and there. Little shields above the doors. Okay, I gave you the wrong information at the start. This was actually built for the Hartley family, but the Cunliffes owned it for quite a chunk of time. And Squire Cunliffe was the last owner of the hall. And he was not a particularly good person. We'll come back to him in a minute as to what he got up to. But basically, he had a lot of debts. And eventually, the people of Wycoller actually moved away from here because there was no work. Mills were springing up elsewhere in bigger towns. People moved away, and this place, the whole place became abandoned, as did eventually the hall. So Cunliffe decided to sell off parts of the stone, and it went towards building a mill somewhere else. And yeah, eventually, over time, it ended up a ruin. But it is rumoured that Squire Cunliffe is still in this hall. Okay, so why is Wycoller a haunted hotspot? Well, the biggest story here is a ghost that appears every single year in a stormy night, and it begins at the far side of Wycoller, where a ghostly rider and a horse are heard and occasionally seen coming through Wycoller. The horse goes into the house and then goes up what are now vanished stairs. When the horse reaches the top of the stairs, there is a crack of a whip and a scream. And then the rider and the horse are said to go back the way they came. That is said to happen once a year, but who is that rider? Well, it's supposedly Squire Cunliffe himself. And there have been numerous attempts at photographing, filming what happens, and noises have been got on camera. There's even this photograph here, which is supposed to be of that rider on the horse. What do you think? History tells us that the Squire Cunliffe actually did come into the hall on his horse one night and go up the stairs. What exactly happened upstairs is open to interpretation, but there's two suggestions as to why there is that scream. One is that Cunliffe murdered his wife. The other one is she was so shocked by the horse and Cunliffe coming into the bedroom on his horse that she screamed and died of fright. Now, we don't know exactly what happened. Again, it's open to interpretation, but that ghost is said to come back every single year on a storm. It brings the storm with it, rides through the town and into the hall. It's such a gorgeous day, I don't think it's going to happen today. And unsurprisingly, the murdered wife of Cunliffe has also been said to be seen in the hall. She's been reported twice, but a very, very long way back in time, whilst the Cunliffes actually still owned the hall, the last owner. And so she was kind of haunting it soon after she died in the hall. And she is supposed to have predicted and said to two visitors the downfall of the Cunliffe family. That definitely happened. Now if this view looks familiar, this is actually 1970, a location for the railway train. So imagine living in a village where the crack of whips and blood-curdling screams are a regular occurrence. This sounds like a place I'd love to be in. There is another ghost of another lady, also murdered by a member of the Cunliffe family, said to haunt here. This particular Cunliffe name has just gone out of my head, apologies, I'll put it underneath. Had travelled to the West Indies and had taken a bride, and on the way back on the ship he actually decided he didn't want to be married to her and pushed her overboard, and she died drowned in the sea. Supposed to be the ghost, goes by the name of Black Bess, and she is said to have actually reached Wycoller Hall to come here and haunt the Cunliffe family for the rest of time, never to forgive what happened. So she travelled quite a long way just to come and haunt here. Could these be the stairs? Where Cunliffe's ghostly horse and rider runs up. The other ghost that is said to haunt the hall is the ghost of somebody we've covered before. It's the ghost of Guytrash. Guytrash is kind of a large black hound, and when we've covered it before, it was actually not far from here. It was in Haworth. It was the dog that haunted the Brontes, and two of the Brontes actually wrote about the Guytrash. But it does also haunt here. And if you see the ghost of Guytrash, essentially that is the end. So I don't know how long it goes from when you see it to when you're no longer here, but I'm guessing there must be a little bit of a gap, because otherwise who would have reported seeing it?
Know what you might find.
So it's not just the hall that has a lot of spooky activity going on. The village, or hamlet if you will, of Wycoller also has its fair share of ghosts. I'm not exactly sure which buildings we're on about here, and a lot of this is different to what it would have been years ago. The whole village at one point was abandoned due to people moving away and working elsewhere, and obviously even at one point cars were, not even cars were allowed here. That's obviously different now from what we can see. But let me just tell you of two other ghosts that happen to be here in Wycoller. So firstly, there is the Blue Lady, and where the houses are close together, she is actually said to walk through the walls of houses. Now whether that's like she walks from here into that house, I'm not really sure. But the Blue Lady is one, and the other one is a house which I'm not sure which one at all, but reported quite a lot of poltergeist activity at one point. Again, not sure. But also again, if you're looking at this thinking this all looks familiar, this is also part of the Railway Children film. Obviously the houses are now different in style to what they were then. Alright, there we go. So that is the haunted hamlet of Wycoller, specifically the ghosts of Wycoller Hall. And this area is known as a haunted hotspot and one of the most haunted locations, small locations in the UK. So have you ever visited here? Have you heard any of the stories or spotted anything yourself when you've been here? It's pretty gorgeous there. And I was talking earlier about the Squire Cunliffe ghost bringing the storms. We definitely had bad storms last night, so maybe he was here last night, I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you for joining us and helping us celebrate our 4th YouTube birthday. We very much appreciate it, whether you've been with us from day one or this is your first one. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, and lots more haunted stuff coming for our birthday weekend. So keep watching. We'll see you very soon.